Update 9 on Typhoon Haiyan, which is currently located in the Gulf of Tonkin, not too far from the coast of Vietnam now, with wind speeds of 85 miles per hour sustained, gusting to 100 miles per hour with a pressure of 967 millibars. Current positions 19.3 degrees north, 108.1 degrees east, which puts it just northwest of Hainan Island in China, in between Hainan and Vietnam over the Gulf of Tonkin right now. The storm is expected to move towards the north, or perhaps a little bit further towards the west first of all, weakening to a tropical storm as it moves over land, and then eventually dissipating, possibly in about 36 to 48 hours, dissipating over southern China. But it will probably make landfall as a typhoon, so we do have red typhoon warnings in effect for southern China, and typhoon conditions possible in Vietnam over the next 12 to 24 hours. All along that coastline there, we could see some typhoon conditions occurring along the coast of the Gulf of Tonkin, and indeed along Hainan Island and southern China as well. We could see some typhoon conditions, definitely tropical storm force conditions, with tropical storm force winds rather, and obviously heavy rain occurring too. It's still a rather broad system, it's not so strong anymore, but it is still fairly large and could produce lots of rain, which could lead to flooding too. Sea surface temperatures are only marginal now, but it's becoming increasingly irrelevant as the storm moves closer and closer to land. Sea surface temperatures are around 26 degrees Celsius, possibly dipping below that just as it makes landfall in Vietnam over the next 12 to 24 hours, but that's not really too relevant anymore. The CMC model has a quick demise for Haiyan, with a new storm forming near the Philippines, moving over the South China Sea and making landfall in Vietnam. We also have a storm forming in the Indian Ocean, which could be a threat to India over the next few days, as well as at least a tropical storm. The GFS model, you can see Invest 90W down there towards the bottom right of the screen where it formed, moved over the Philippines, almost a similar track to Haiyan itself, though obviously a much different intensity, much weaker, and then eventually making landfall in southern Vietnam, and could also make it into the Indian Ocean as well, along with what the remnants of 30W, which could form over there over the next day or two. So this is the current situation, the satellite imagery. You can see how the storms move towards the northwest, clipping the coast of Hainan, possibly making a landfall there. It's difficult to tell. By my reckoning, probably not, but very close. I could easily be wrong with that. But the storm's moving towards the northwest, and obviously delivering inclement conditions to the island of Hainan right now, especially the western section of the island. But all around that region there, the Gulf of Tonkin coastlines, we could be seeing some heavy rain occurring, and indeed strong winds with higher gusts. Obviously we have gusts of up to 100 miles per hour, so it's still fairly strong, could still cause some damage, and indeed some flooding over there as the storm moves ashore Vietnam. So as of November the 10th at 2 PM UTC, we have a few systems out there. Tropical Storm 3A about to make landfall in Somalia in the next 24 hours. Invest 98S has formed not too far from Indonesia in the southern Indian Ocean. Of course we have Typhoon Haiyan and Invest 90W, which could develop into our next Western Pacific storm in the next day or two as it heads towards the Philippines, or it may wait until passing the Philippines before developing into a tropical storm. But either way, it will cause some heavy rainfall over there, so we could see conditions which are already not too great after the Haiyan itself not be obviously with more rainfall falling, we could see some more flooding occurring there. So 2013 is the 29th busiest season on record, with 27 tropical storms depending whose totals you go by, 15 typhoons, 10 of which reaching category 3 intensity 115 miles per hour or greater, in the company of 1984 just above and 1982 just below, with a few of the seasons from the 20th century filling those positions above 2013 right now. And you can track this storm at the website force13.com/stormtracking.html. That's the main page for all the storm tracking information, where all the storms are all around the world, showing every single storm, including invests and post-tropical cyclones. And of course we have Haiyan with updates on there frequently in between videos. You can also find us elsewhere on the web, Facebook and Twitter, so search Force 13 on either of those mediums, and you should find it fairly easily enough. And as always, please do show your support by the usual means of engagement: liking, subscribing, commenting, favoriting, or following, or indeed anything else that you may be able to think of that I can't right now. And if you have any comments or questions on the current storm, or indeed anything storm related, you can do so by sending in a private message or through the Force 13 contact form on the website, which is force13.com, of course. This is my final video update on Haiyan, though we'll be staying up to date with the landfall and anything beyond that on the website, which leaves me to say, for those people in the Vietnam region and China of course as well, stay safe out there.